This is Jed. He is practicing the piano with the piano wizard. He has MR, mental retardation. Jed was 4 years old before he learned to walk. He was 6 years old before he spoke his very first words. By the time he was 7, I noticed that he could distinguish colors, and that's when I looked on the internet for software that would teach children how to play the piano, and I found the Piano Wizard. I wanted Jed to play the piano because at the time he couldn't do anything else. He couldn't understand anything at all. He couldn't even enjoy toddler TV, which are designed for like 2-year-olds, even though he was 7, because he couldn't get it. So he had nothing to do all day. And I thought if he could practice the piano, even just a little bit, that would be a big plus. That's something he could do. And something he could do for a change, right? Without somebody holding his hand every step of the way. So I bought the Piano Wizard for Jed, which turns out to be one of the best things I've ever bought for him. When I first bought the Piano Wizard, I was hoping that Jed would be able to play the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, one note at a time, say in about a year. If he did that, I would be very, very happy. Turns out he was able to finish it in like a month, which was like a total surprise and great delight. And at the same time, it increased my expectation tenfold. That is, I decided that I would have him finish the entire Piano Wizard 100 songs in, say, 10 years. 1 song per month, and 10 years, you should be able to get through 100 songs. Now, that theory isn't necessarily correct because the songs get progressively harder. These 100 songs aren't just random songs that Piano Wizard found. They're actually designed by professional musician teachers. And these guys, they have it all graded from the easiest that even a 2-year-old can do to all the way up to pretty hard, like what Jed is doing right now. By the time when I look at this stuff, it took a lot of faith and imagination to think that Jed can ever do this. Remember back in the days when he couldn't even understand color TV. And my husband expressed great doubt in it, but I thought, we'll just give it a try and we'll see where it goes. And now Jed is 10 years old, and as you can see, we're at level 10. We're about 2.5 years into the Piano Wizard, and we're at level 10, and this is one of the last songs. I think this is song number 96 out of 100. So we're very close to finishing the entire academy, and we've spent less than 3 years to do it. Normally, the Piano Wizard people says that it takes 2 years to finish the course. And we're taking slightly under 3 years, and that is just totally incredible to me. Now, teaching the Piano Wizard is actually very simple and intuitive. As long as your child can distinguish colors, they don't have to be able to name it. They just be able to tell yellow is up there, is yellow on the keyboard, and then be able to push a button with their fingers. And that's all it takes. They don't have to understand tempo and read music or anything. Now these you can see the eggs coming up, and they're coming up very, very fast. So you can slow it down like this and slow it way, way down. Now this is the slowest point. It's moving, but you can hardly tell that it's moving. So let's go back to the beginning. That's way too slow. And you can try this. Okay. Now we will go a little faster. Okay, put finger 3 on yellow. Push. Put finger 2 on blue. Okay, push blue. It has not played the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star for a long time. So right now it's playing at tempo number 30, and you can adjust it up and down. And the standard tempo for it is number 86 for this particular song. They're all different. And as you can see, you just as the egg hits on top, you just teach your child to press the according button, and the egg will blow up into a pterodactyl, which is hard to see on this computer screen here, but it's very pleasing visually. And I think that they have other pictures that blow up into different things too, like rockets or asteroids or even pianos. But this is my favorite little picture that will blow up. Anyway, so he does this slowly, and as he gets good at it, you can speed it up until it gets more like the regular tempo.
Wait.
the child becomes familiar with playing with the eggs going up and doing well, then it's time to do level 2, which means the eggs will come from the side, which is actually exactly the same thing as the eggs coming up, except for the direction change. And this direction change will obviously lead to the sheet music format, which is, I think, is a super ingenious idea, that you adapt sheet music format into a computer software, which helps you time when to hit which note, see, as you notice that. And Jet never had trouble with it. The fact that the notes are suddenly coming from the side didn't seem to bother him, even from the very beginning. It was a little harder, but it didn't take him much, maybe put him back a couple of days, and then he caught right up with the notes just coming from the side instead of coming from top. Now on level 3 of a song, you turn the eggs into genuine musical notes. However, it is still in the same color code that it was in originally. So it's just a small step, a very gentle learning curve. And at the time, Jet again didn't have that much trouble adjusting it. He didn't know why the eggs looked slightly different now, but it was same color, so it really wasn't a big deal. And he just continued to keep going until he gets this part down as well. And that brings us to the very last part of this the piano music levels, that is playing with music notes that looks almost identical to normal music sheets. And the very last step is to convert it into just the black dots, like that's how Jet does it. The black dots, you think that should be very hard, but it really wasn't. By then, when Jet has practiced the song enough, he can use the black dots. He can't really read it quite, but he can more or less remember which dot is what color, plus his hand motions already got it down, so that he can play the whole thing without trouble. Actually, without knowing precisely how to make music, he can play a song on a real piano. The question, of course, is that, well, this is all very nice being plugged into the piano wizard and all, but can Jet really play on a real piano without, the computer's help? And the answer is yes. Once he gets this motion down, the real piano isn't really that different. Right now, Jet is no longer hooked up to the computer or the piano wizard. He is totally on his own playing on the real piano, like everybody else. It goes to show that you can graduate from the piano wizard, and it doesn't have to be a permanent crutch. It's just a help for you to get there, like all roads lead to Rome. It's just that the road through the piano wizard is easier and much more pleasant and fun. Okay, sweetheart, start playing. If somebody a couple years ago had said to me that, well, in a couple of years, Jet would be able to play like this, I would have thought they were crazy. He was so lacking in every area of his physical and mental abilities. That would have been a miracle. In fact, to this day, as I watch him play, it's like an amazing sight. I can hardly believe it, even as I see it day after day. To teach the piano wizard, it's not absolutely necessary that you're a musical expert of any kind. Like I myself, my only musical training consists of required music class from high school, or was it grade school, I'm not sure. Anyway, I didn't enjoy it much. I learned practically nothing from it. I did learn what the F sharp is, but only a few years ago, I finally figured out that F sharp and G flat are exactly the same thing, which is like so absurd. Why would you call it the exact same note, two different names? But I digress. The point is that the Piano Wizard does not require a whole lot of musical understanding. Of course, if you do have it, it helps. All you need is tell your child to push the right key based on the color code at the right time, based on when the eggs hit the lines, not to turn it into a pterodactyl or some such thing. So it's very simple, it's very basic, and while that's not all there is to playing the piano, you can go a long ways with just that piece of knowledge, as you have seen Jed do. So whether you are a pianist yourself or not, the Piano Wizard is good enough to take you quite a long ways in the matter of piano learning. The Piano Wizard is very easy to teach with in this sense. Once your child remembers his fingering, and it doesn't take that many times for them to do it, at least it doesn't take Jed that many times to remember. And once he's done it so many times, he remembers. I don't have to keep telling him finger 3 goes on red, finger 2 goes on green. He doesn't have to know that anymore, be told that anymore. And at that point, you just let him practice it from starting out slow and gradually approaching a little bit at a time, approaching this normal speed. And while he goes through over a song, you could be doing something else, doing housework or watching TV. It's a very easy way to teach. You don't have to be sitting there breathing down his neck the whole time. And he has the freedom and the sense of independence that I am doing this all on my own, pretty much. And most of the practice is done pretty much as he by himself. And I will come back after each song to see how it's progressing, if he made any mistakes, and so on. Now, whether it's teaching the mentally challenged child or some other special needs child or a normal child, the principle is the same, is that you gain slowly, that you're not in a bad hurry to get somewhere by a certain time, that you just progress one day at a time, one lesson at a time, but just keep it steady. That every day or almost every day you can practice, and as the days add up, his progress will add up. It's the tortoise beat the hare principle. Again, the slow child, if they just keep it up, will eventually beat the fast child who hasn't practiced at all, which is not that uncommon. So the Piano Wizard is really, really good if your child can, number one, distinguish colors. Then that means that they don't necessarily need to be able to say that pink is pink. All they need is be able to recognize that that pink on the screen is the same as the pink sticker on the piano on the keyboard, and it's different from, say, the yellow sticker. If they have that much ability, and if they can move their fingers okay, then that's all it takes. In that case, I highly recommend the Piano Wizard.